What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and I am back with my NBA DFS contenders on DraftKings for Thursday, June 17th. Now, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman so you can get updates to your sim results as we get closer to lock. Finally, let me know in the comments section who is your favorite and least favorite of my contenders for today's slate. We are rounding out the bottom of my top 10 with Landry Shamet, Jeff Green, Drew Holiday, James Harden, and Chris Middleton on the outside looking in. Who will be my favorites? My top 5 plays for today? It's time to find out. First up at number 5, we are going to Brook Lopez. He's 5,600, projected for 28. He's in the captain spot 5% of the time, in the flex 51. 55% of the time, Brook Lopez is in the optimal lineup. I gave him a minutes bump. I got him at 34. Played big minutes in game 5. Right around 0.8 fantasy points per minute. Lower usage, just 17%. You're getting 14 points. You're getting about 6 boards. Probably 2.5 stocks, somewhere in that neighborhood. But it's a minutes game. The rotations are slowly but surely getting condensed. Brook Lopez getting more minutes at a $5,600 price tag means that there's a little bit of value to squeeze out of that price. Staying on that Bucks value side, number 4, PJ Tucker, 2,400, projected for 16. There is no goal. The captain spot percentage is 2%. Good luck to you if you're playing PJ Tucker in the captain spot, but it can happen. 59% of the time, however, he will be in the optimal lineup at the flex spot. He's playing monstrous minutes, guarding Kevin Durant. I got him in for 32 here at 0.5 fantasy points per minute. So it's not like we're making some huge jump here. That's 0.5 fantasy points is about as low as I've ever projected anyone ever. That's 4.8 points, 4.7 rebounds, an assist and a half, and a stock and a half. The stocks are actually really important because every one of those is such a giant portion of the fantasy points you need for PJ Tucker. But when push comes to shove, 30 plus minutes at just 2,400, if he just falls into a couple stats, you're going to be perfectly fine. And if he even just has a solid-ish day knocking down corner threes, PJ Tucker will be essential in the flex spot. Next up at number 3, we're paying all the way up to 12,400 for Kevin Durant, projected for 62 fantasy points. He's in the captain spot 30% of the time. He's in the flex 42% of the time. Optimal lineup, 72% likelihood for Kevin Durant. I gave him 44 minutes. Obviously, we've seen that he could play all 48, but he won't if the game gets out of hand in either direction. 1.42 fantasy points per minute, 37% usage, and then just bonkers scoring. 36 real points, 8.5 boards, 6.5 assists, 3 stocks. It's not going to take a lot of convincing to let you know that Kevin Durant is one of the best plays of the day. You expect him to score and you expect him to be in the lineup frequently. You need a little bit of value. That's why someone like PJ Tucker climbs to the top. I obviously, based on this list, prefer Giannis to Kevin Durant from a fantasy perspective. That shouldn't be all that surprising either. Although if Kevin Durant wants to go for 100 DK points again today, by all means do that because it was incredible to watch. But we still have one more guy ahead of Kevin Durant because the pricing is just broken there. And that number 2 guy is $2,800 Pat Connaughton. Connaughton played 32 minutes in game 4. I am only giving him 28 for game 5. Do I have those numbers wrong? 5 and 6. Push those things forward. You guys know what I mean. I've got him projected for 19 fantasy points. He's the optimal captain 5% of the time. He's in the optimal flex spot 69% of the time. That means Pat Connaughton is in the optimal 74% of the time. These extra minutes are massive. Connaughton's around a 0.7 fantasy point per minute guy, and that price tag just forces him to be in an optimal lineup very frequently, especially if you're trying to get to Durant and Giannis at the same time. 11% usage for Connaughton, 7.5 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, maybe a stock, but really, you're taking his heavy minutes. 28 to me is heavy, and we've already seen that it can be north of 30. We're taking those minutes and we're using them to get to Giannis and Durant at the same time. That is why Pat Connaughton is so popular. That is why Pat Connaughton is the number 2 contender. Now, before we get to the obvious number 1 contender, one last reminder, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Then, go to Twitter and follow me, at Josh Engleman. Only place you're going to get updates to sim results as we get closer to lock. And finally, let me know in the comment section, favorite contender, least favorite contender, and the guy that you thought should have been on this list that you don't see. There he is, 12K. Giannis Antetokounmpo is the #1 contender on DraftKings, projected for just shy of 64. He's in the optimal captain spot 33% of the time, optimal flex 47% of the time, which means 80% likelihood of Giannis being in the optimal lineup. I gave him 40 minutes. That's pretty big for him. You could potentially play more given the fact that they go home if this goes wrong, but 40 seems safe. 1.6 fantasy points per minute, 34% usage, and then just a monster line. 33 points, 13 boards, 7 assists, 2.7 stocks. What's not to like? To me, it's just a little bit easier to get to Giannis from a fantasy perspective. Not saying that I think Giannis is better than Kevin Durant, because I don't. But today, in DFS, at that 12K price tag, Giannis Antetokounmpo is the #1 contender. Alrighty, folks, that will do it. Those are my NBA DFS contenders on DraftKings for Thursday, June 17th. No process show today. FanDuel version of this video, it's around here somewhere. NBA strategy show at 10 a.m. with Laffy, and then that is it for me. So keep your eyes peeled to Twitter for some updates later today. Good luck tonight, everybody. I will be back again tomorrow morning for another edition of the Contenders.